public image from an individual point of view. Image really is perception, and image is what the publics that matter to us think about us. So if I were to look at two ends of public image from an individual point of view, there's a self-image and there's a public image. Self-image of a character is the kind of person I am, but the public image is how others describe me as. Now, if there's no consistency between what I think of myself and what others describe me as, there is a problem. These need to be as close to each other. Ability is what I am good at, but the public image of ability or the public perception is what others depend on me for. Purpose is what I believe is my contribution. Public image of purpose is what others value me for. But to do this well, one needs consistency, credibility, and clarity. One needs consistency of character, credibility through ability, and clarity of purpose to really build a public image and communicate public image so that it multiplies the efforts we put in for better outcomes. But my sense always has been that everything starts with purpose. While character and ability are important, everything starts with purpose. I would like to share an incident that has shaped me deeply, and this was when I was young. I'm a native of Andhra, born and brought up in Karnataka. My mother tongue is Tamil. Tata means grandfather in all these three languages. This is a story or an incident about my grandfather, who used to live in a small village in Andhra called Vikota. I was studying in Karnataka in a town called Chintamani, and every summer I used to look forward to going to my village and spending time with my grandfather and cousins. And we had a fairly large house in our village. People familiar with old houses will relate to a 3x3 structure. So you had 3 rooms on the left, 3 rooms in the middle, 3 rooms on the right. Then you had a courtyard, a kitchen and a bathroom, and then you had a backyard for cattle and food grain storage, etc. That was the kind of house my Tata had. He was a doctor by profession. 1/3 of this house, which is the 3 rooms on the right, were earmarked for his practice. So when I used to go to my village, I used to love spending time with my grandfather and hanging around with him. At that time, he was fairly old, and this is an incident from 1985. I was in my 7th standard, and my grandfather was nearing 80 at that time, and he was very hard of hearing. He had a hearing aid, but the family had sort of figured out how to talk to him so that he understands what we speak. So we used to assist him in his clinic. Lots of people used to come to him. So we were in a small village surrounded by even smaller villages. So patients from 50 to 60 kilometers away used to come and seek help and advice and treatment from my grandfather. There were times when they would miss a bus and stay back in the house, get fed and go back. So when I used to assist my grandfather, I noticed something very peculiar about how he used to run his practice. He used to wear a long white coat. People familiar with old Telugu, Tamil movies would have seen doctors with these white coats. And this coat had 2 pockets on the left and right, which are fairly deep. Now the patients used to come and used to treat them. And typically the patient would ask at the end of the treatment before he or she leaves, doctor, how much do I pay for you? And remember, this is 85, this is in a village setting. There were no rate cards saying consultation fees, so much, so on. And my grandfather used to tell them, you pay whatever you want and drop the money in my left pocket. But then people used to say, but I got 5 rupees in my hand, I need change. He used to say, take the change from the right pocket. So people used to put money into his left pocket, sometimes go away, sometimes take money from his right pocket. It used to amaze me why he used to do this. And I asked him, why do you do this? So his insight into this was, he said, look, I'm no doubt a good doctor, but a lot of these people come to me because I'm the only doctor available to them in a 60-kilometer radius. And the people who come to me are farmers. They grow produce for us. They grow produce for the country. Their lives are full of ups and downs. Now, when they come to me, I know that very often they don't have money to pay me. Some of them just put their hand into my pocket without any money. But they know that I don't know that they have an inability to pay. So which doesn't upset them, which protects their dignity. And so long as their dignity is protected, whenever they fall sick, they will come to me. If I charge them money or ask them to pay money and they're unable to do so, they will postpone coming to me and their health will suffer. If their health suffers, the health of produce suffers. If the health of produce suffers, our country suffers. Which I thought was a great way to have a purpose in life and to practice this purpose. This is an incident that has stayed with life. And I always tell myself, one of my purposes in life is to be a grandson worthy of my grandfather. So if I had to break this down, my grandfather's purpose really was nation's welfare. His ability was farmers' well-being. He happened to be a doctor and he solved for this. But he was rooted to his purpose, whether he was a lawyer, an engineer, whatever he was, he would have found a way to service this purpose. And his character was of protecting others' dignity. And how did this translate in terms of perception? People used to come to him, recognize that he put service over self, that his ability was to be a guardian of wellness, not just treat people. And they found him to be kind and charitable. So my submission is, while character, ability, and purpose are important, everything starts with purpose. So I thought I'll share this deeply personal story with all of you. Now,